Let's do a bit of a power rankings here because we did have someone message us asking us to update it. This was our most recent one on the left here. We had Limerick number 1, Clare, Galway, Cork, Kilkenny. 6 were Wexford, 7th Waterford, Tip, Dublin, Westmeath, Antrim, Laois and Kerry. So I suppose we can go through some of this quite quickly and just have Limerick at number 1 once again. There's no question about that. Clare number 2. Now it gets interesting from here. Who's your next team?
Yeah, well, Limerick and Clare is fine. We won't have any debate there. Yeah, tough. Well, Galway definitely aren't number 3 anyway. I can't have Cork number 3 either probably at the moment. Kilkenny are in an All-Ireland semi-final and won a hat-trick of Leinster titles. Do I think they'll?
It's not so long ago that we had them around 7th or something like that.
Yeah. Do I think they'll be in an All-Ireland final? I probably don't. Is that essentially what you're looking at? You know, I'm saying that I think the All-Ireland final pairing is what we have 1 and 2. So it's a bit of a Glenn Quagmire underneath that.
Yeah, but Clare could get caught between suspensions. Who knows about injuries? Just mentally trying to turn it around since the Munster final. I do think they're number 2. It's just I wouldn't be 100% guaranteed they're going to get to the All-Ireland.
Boom, boom, 43. Number 3 still Waterford, even though they didn't get through.
I'll have Tip at 4, so if that's the way, boom, boom.
Yeah. Listen.
Look, Cork beat Kilkenny in the All-Ireland semi-final last year. They beat them in the semi-final of the league this year. They came through a much tougher province.
They did, just about. Kilkenny won a weaker province.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, but it's not as if they both finished third in, the Kilkenny finished third in Leinster. Kilkenny won Leinster. You can say that they won a weaker province, but they won it, whereas Cork were third in a stronger province. If Cork had gotten to a final, maybe you'd have them ahead of them.
Well, let's put it this weekend. Look, we'll review them or preview them later in the week, but I think, are you suspecting that it'll be 2 Munster wins this week?
I'm just not sure about Cork. I do think Clare will win. Cork, Galway. Listen, I'd probably be stumping for Galway. As you know, I still don't have much faith in Cork. That's why I wouldn't be putting Cork 3. I'd have Kilkenny 3.
I think Kilkenny deserve 3 at the moment, even though I think all 3 Munster teams might beat them at the moment. But look, that can change too.
Yeah, I'd probably have Cork 4 then.
I would have Cork 4, and I'd have. By into the draw, would you have Galway or Wexford next? Well, when they met in the championship already this year, it was a draw, but Galway definitely played far more to Hurling that day.
Who do you fancy more to get through the weekend? Galway or Wexford? I think Wexford have a shout at the weekend.
I think both teams have a shout because I just don't know how this is all going to impact Clare, what's going on at the moment. So I'm actually struggling to call both of them. Maybe I just haven't had enough time to really weigh them up just yet.
Yeah. Keep
the comments coming in, folks, by the way. Let us know what you think. And more so, not just where you think teams should be, but why. Like Sean O'Sullivan here, given Liam is coming back next year, he'll feel he's figured out what went wrong and the back in the team. We will be back with a bang next year. That's relating to Waterford.
Yeah, and Sean O'Sullivan also says, can KFK find a way to win against a better team on paper? Does John Milan love his county? No, it's a fair point. Yeah,
they do wear teams down. Yeah, to be fair,
they do tend to wear teams down. And they obviously wore Galway down in the Leinster final. It's probably a bit of an overreaction to have. Galway were terrible in the Leinster final. There's no point in saying any difference. Maybe they were too bad to be true, or maybe it's all Galway's old failings coming home to roost again. But I'd probably still have them ahead of Wexford. I'll put it to you this way: do I think Galway could potentially put it up to Limerick on a given day? Well, they did only 2 years ago. Can they now?
Time's moved on. Life's moved on since that game.
But I still think they're a better team than Wexford. And I think they have better options than Wexford.
Oh, okay. I'll put it to you this way. Who has the better forwards? Would you rather have Lee Chin, Conor McDonald, Rory O'Connor, or would you rather have the assembled forwards for Galway, who outside of Conor Whelan did nothing in the Leinster final?
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. You're going in hard against Galway. You're going in hard today.
The Matties.
Yeah, the Wexford is a funny one. I kind of have a bit of belief in Wexford coming into this weekend, and
Do you know what's a good stat for you? I just came up with this one over the weekend. Since they won, and I know these games are in Semple Stadium, so it's kind of beside the point in a way. But since Galway won the All-Ireland, they've played 8 championship games at Croke Park. And viewers, get your answers in if you want to answer before Vernie here. We'll flash it up on the screen. How many championship games have Galway won at Croke Park out of 8 fixtures since winning the All-Ireland in 2017?
Oh, beaten in the 2020 Leinster final, beaten in the 2020 All-Ireland semi-final, beaten in the 2021 Leinster semi-final, beaten in the 2022 Leinster final. That's 4 that they've won. Who have they beaten? Yeah, I'm just trying to think who they've actually... 2018, they drew with Clare in Croke Park in 2018. They drew with Kilkenny. Have they won any?
Well, would you want the answer?
I'm just trying to think. That's 6 of the 8 games we've covered so far, I think. The other one they played, Waterford beat them in Thurles last year.
To be fair, you're doing pretty well here. This is some good memory stuff going on.
They have only played 1 game there this year, yeah?
Yeah, against Kilkenny.
What's the game I'm leaving out? I don't know if they've won a game, have they?
They have won 1 game at Croke Park in Championship since winning the All-Ireland. That was against Wexford. Remember when they hammered them? Shane O'Neill was manager in 2020.
Oh, yes. They won by forgotten game. I wouldn't have remembered
points.
the game. Definitely wouldn't remember.
Okay, so they've played 8 games and won 1 there in Championship since winning the All-Ireland. That's a fair reflection of where Galway have gone. So just to go through it, they drew with Kilkenny in 2018, won the replay in Thurles. Drew with Clare in 2018, won the replay in Thurles, which is a funny quirk. Lost to Limerick there in 2018 in the All-Ireland, beat Wexford. Then they've lost 4 games in a row in Croke Park against Kilkenny, Limerick, Dublin and Kilkenny again. So that kind of tells you there, as A Sully 180, your buddy says, wow. It's really, really poor. And I suppose the flip side then is Cork haven't won too many games up there either. I think that wasn't the victory against Kilkenny last year, which was after extra time. So in a way, you could say it was a draw. They hadn't won there since 2013, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. Wexford haven't won a game in Croke Park since the 2019 Leinster final, have they?
I wouldn't think so. And then, of course, Clare haven't won a game at Croke Park in Championship since 2013.
Yeah, and the Clare footballers hadn't won a championship game in Croke Park in 108 years before the other day.
Hey, who else can we slate here? Teams who don't win at Croke Park. So, yeah, that's what you're coming up against. And, Cork and Galway haven't played each other since the 2015 All-Ireland quarter-final at Croke Park when Johnny Glynn stayed going and sure, look, I'll stay going again. And, they haven't played in that long, which is kind of a strange one. But anyway,
Sean O'Sullivan makes a great point here. And I think it's a great point outside of the top couple of teams. It's mad how unpredictable hurling is. Tip were All-Ireland winners 3 years ago. This year they couldn't buy a draw. Like it's
Sean,
mad.
Leave it so, Sean, will you?
It's mad, but it's kind of mad. Outside of Limerick, you kind of know what you're going to get on a given day. Clare are becoming like way more consistent. Obviously, you wouldn't be 100% sure on Cork. You wouldn't be 100% sure on Galway. If madly, the one team you would have been nearly sure of what you get on a given day would have been Kilkenny, and then they had an absolute no-show against Wexford in that last game in Nolan Park, and then they turn it around and win Leinster. As I predicted the day after, I must say, I said the one thing is for sure is that Kilkenny win Leinster, and then they go and produce that in the Leinster final and won. Listen, I probably still have Galway ahead of Wexford.
Yeah, Cathal O'Halloran says, by that logic, how many matches have Galway won in Thurles since then? I don't know, Cathal. I haven't done that research just yet, but they've probably won a couple. Actually, I had a Wexford supporter on to me recently saying that Thurles is not a good venue for them traditionally, that they lose a lot of games there. But they did beat Cork there in 2016. Remember that game? It was the first time they'd beaten Cork in the championship since, I don't know, Jesus was a boy or something like that.
They got hammered. They got hammered by Waterford the week after now, in fairness. I remember Limerick giving them a fair bait in an All-Ireland quarter-final there a few years ago as well.
Okay, so you want Galway number 5. So we've Limerick, Clare.
Can I be honest with you?
Go on, for once.
I actually like the look of Wexford more than Galway at the moment.
So we're agreed.
If I'm being perfectly honest.
Okay, and then are we going to Galway then at 6? We have to by Dintiston being the championship.
Yeah.
And I don't think we can really change anything after that, unless you want to change the order of Antrim, Laois, Kerry. Do Kerry go ahead of Laois?
Kerry are still going to be... they're both going to be operating in McDonagh next year, actually.
So what do you think?
Oh,
I think
I was happy that I got the one up in you that Antrim had to go 11 ahead of... You tried to put Laois ahead of Antrim the last day.
What is it? What are these character assassinations about today? Okay, so just go through it anyway for someone who's listening to the audio podcast later. Limerick, Clare, Cork, Kilkenny, Cork, Wexford 5, Galway, Waterford, Tipperary. 9th are Dublin, 10th Westmeath, and then 11, 12, 13 are Antrim, Laois and Kerry. So we have a couple of comments coming in here, so let's read them out. Richard Hogan says Galway 5, Wexford 6. A Sully 180 from 3 to 6 after one poor outing. Lads. So, but look, I mean, we can't ignore what Galway did in that Leinster final. It was pretty poor, but maybe this weekend they'll put us straight. Mike Sinnott, Leinster teams might not be that far off Munster teams. Well, they've had 5 years to show us that. And, well, yeah, it is 5 years since Galway won it. A Connacht native. No Leinster native team has won it since 2015. Kerry should be ahead of Laois, says Cat Knapp. Put Kerry ahead of Waterford, says Declan O'Keefe. Patrick Coleman, Wexford are ahead of Galway after the results of last week. And Catnap is having good crack out of Declan O'Keefe's comment there about putting Kerry ahead of Waterford. So that's our hurling power rankings. You're happy enough with that?
No, I am. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I've lost whatever faith I had in Galway. To be honest with you, maybe they'll rip that up at the weekend again.
For more exclusive content, go to patreon.com/OurGame.